Hello, my Teaserking family. All right, let's get on to football. Everything starts next, I want to say Saturday. We got Notre Dame and Navy. Now, what I normally do is give a free pick so I can make everybody money who doesn't want to be a customer. And then I have my other games posted. So I posted games yesterday. I got one lot going and 4 other plays. So that's 8 games posted at this point. And we can go through my analysis of week 1. So let's go through 8:26 to 9:2. We'll stop at 9:2. And then we'll look at pro football, whatever they did yesterday a little bit, any news, injuries, stuff like that. I really want to post week 1 pro on Teaserking, but I'm going to wait one more. Let's let this last preseason game. That still gives us 2 weeks. I don't see the lines jumping unless there's a major injury. I did see where the Jets need offensive line help. So we will see what they can do to get better for Rodgers. Their defense is very strong, but I think they'll figure it out. Joe Burrow had trouble with that, and he just bootlegged around. So, with that said, I refreshed the lines last night. So I was at the lake where I like to go to relax, watch the water, take a walk, just to get out of the house, get some sunshine. So I did that. Just trying to clean up. Okay, so went through all the lines and went through all the games. So Notre Dame, minus 20, 50, over-under against the Navy. New Mexico State, 7.5, 44.5 against UMass. San Diego State, minus 3, 49 against Ohio. Vanderbilt, 17.5, 56 against Hawaii. USC, 30, 64 against San Jose State. Louisiana Tech, 10.5, 59 against Florida International. UCF, 35, 58 against Kent State. NC State, minus 15.5, 47.5 against UConn. Utah, 6.5, 46.5 against Utah. Minnesota, 7.5, 46.5 against Nebraska. Miami, 17, 46 against Miami of Ohio. Miami of Florida, Miami of Ohio. Michigan State, 14.5, 49.5 against Central Michigan. Louisville, 8 and 51, it looks like, against Georgia Tech. Stanford, 7.5 against Hawaii, 58. So this is Hawaii playing on 8/26 and then playing on 9/1, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. 6 days later, I don't get the need. And then we'll just touch base. Army, 7.5, 48.5 against Monroe. And I'm going to give Texas 35, 59.5 against Rice. So as I've noticed, hey, Bobby Bo, as I've noticed, the free pick I'm giving here is Army minus the 1.5, Texas minus 29. Army's got a new offensive coordinator this year. He's going to throw the ball a little bit more because they realized when they played Hartman at Wake and they played Coastal Carolina, they just the defense couldn't handle it, but then they couldn't throw it. So they're trying to be more competitive. I like this offensive coordinator, Division II guy, but they'd get like 50 points a game. Absolutely very strong offensive coordinator. I think with Army, I think he'll blend it in. He'll realize it's not Hartman or Van Dyke at quarterback, so he'll do it, but it'll be more open. Lou Monroe's terrible. They're a W team, which means they're just pretty weak offensively and defensively. So as we're looking at in the art of war, you look for weakness. So that's why I ranked the teams. And a Z team, they just score 15 a game and give up 40. So you know you're going to score a 10 on them and they can't do anything. That's what you look for. That's who we want to bet against, but we want to bet against them with decent offenses. And Lou Monroe's a W, so they score maybe 20 and give up in the 40s, and Army should have a field day on them. It's hard enough to stop the Army if you're Notre Dame or Michigan, but even Michigan played them 24-21. So I look for Army to be able to put up a lot of points, and then I don't look at Lou Monroe, new quarterback, to really be able to do much. I have this. This is a very strong play on my end. Now being a teaser, so I knock it to 1.5, I thought was better than fucking with the over-under because I don't know what they've got. Normally this would be an under with Army because they'd run the ball every down and take 12 minutes off the clock, and it would be a 4-possession game, so they're not going to score a lot. But I think they'll throw a little bit more, but they'll still, when they need to, they'll run it. Go to your strength. I don't think Lou Monroe has the chance here. Very weak team. So that's part one of the teaser. To make a teaser bet, you need 2. Now, when you make your teaser bets, you shouldn't pay more than 110. Now, I know, see, I don't like this DraftKings and all this other. It's bullshit, bad odds. So, if you can bet it at William Hill, they used to be even money when everybody else is 11-12. Do not bet any MGM property. They're 13-10 on the fucking teasers. They're out of their fucking minds. They think you're stupid. They think you don't understand shopping for odds. It's a high enough risk, but at least you pay 11-10. All right, you lose 110 to win 100. If it loses, you lose 110. Okay, not so bad. But you start losing 130 and a 2-team teaser, that's fucking crazy. I think the regular games are 130. I think everything you bet there is 130. It's insane. Again, if people understand economics and people understand competition, you would not make a bet there. And I do not make a bet there. I'll never, even if I'm at the Bellagio, I'll walk to Caesars to make the bet. I prefer usually William Hill is where I make the bet. And there's one right across the street, what used to be the Barbary Coast, has a William Hill sportsbook. So I can just go in there and get 11-10 odds and make the bet. So that's what's happening. So they are losing money because they don't know how to manage their hotels because they don't understand their casinos. They think they're fucking hotels and they want to charge a lot for the room and a lot for the food, and they don't understand this is Vegas. You make your money on people going to the tables and losing. That's why it's about the gamblers going there and losing $500 on blackjack because you're allowing a $5 or $10 table. People take out a few hundred, play a few hundred more because you're going to win because you got the odds. There's a few of us who can beat you, but not many. And I do not card count. I play streaks. So it really fucks them up because what are they going to tell me? I'm not counting cards. If I hit 5 in a row, I punish you. And if I lose 5 in a row, you don't win any money off of me, but it's certainly not card counting. I've never had anybody come up to me and think I was card counting. It was always streaks. Anyway, they don't understand. So instead of charging $80 for the hotel and having that little breakfast area like in Vegas Vacation where you go have your orange juice and an egg. They have all these either the little snack shops or the food court's expensive, or they have these high-end restaurants. The buffet is extremely expensive. They're totally missing the point, which is why they're all going broke. And the only out is to make your money on gambling, which they can't do. So because they're losing money, they're raising the juice on sports betting. So all that's going to do is make people go somewhere else to bet their sports. I've never seen where Vegas has got it so backwards. Before it was come on in and have a steak for $2 and then go gamble and go play $5 and $10 blackjack and craps. You'll lose $1,000 and then we just charge you $1,000 for your $2 steak. That's the idea. The mafia gets it. The business people don't. Well, let's charge $300 a night for the room. Who you got is going to stay there is not going to be gamblers. You want gamblers to come and lose $300, $400, $500 sitting at a thing of blackjack or craps. And I don't go there. That's what I do. I'd play $5 and $10 blackjack. I'll never play 50. So I take out $100 and play it out. And if I win, I win. If I lose, I walk away. But nobody has my discipline. So that's the other part. But then I go eat and I go shop and I'm staying there because it's not too expensive. And now between the resort fees, which are such bullshit, it's just a tax. So you charge me an $80 room and then you charge me another $80 in resort fee. So it's $200 a night. I'm telling you, fuck off. I'm not going to pay for that. I've stayed at Caesars enough. I don't need to stay there. And then your food's so expensive, you force me out. Shopping, I don't know who you're selling to. I don't know who your market is, and I don't think you have a clue. You think everybody who stays there is a multimillionaire and doesn't care about cost, I guess. So anyway, that's the problem. You don't understand you're a casino. You want people at the table, but then you go to the table, they're $50 limits. So go fuck yourself. I'm not $50. I got to play $1,000 for blackjack. No. The odds aren't in my favor. Plus you fuck the odds. You fuck the odds on the sports betting. So we'll go somewhere else. It's competition. You don't get it. So anyway, back to William Hill and 11-10 on your teaser. So that's the first pick. Take the Army, lay the 1.5, and then we're going to go with Texas against Rice. Texas laying 35, over under 59. Ewers, the quarterback, is back. The key to the bet is Arch Manning, right? Rice stinks. Rice is a W. No defense. Texas is going to go up and down the field. They love beating the shit out of Rice. Rice is in Houston. Texas is in, I think, Dallas area. So they're both Texas teams, but Texas just destroys them. They've been doing it for 30, 40 years. I remember when I was a kid, it was Texas boils rice was the thing on the little flyer you'd get on the gold sheet or whatever. So it's the late 29. Ewers is going to come in. He's going to light them up. 28, 35-point first quarter, first half. They'll be up there. But then here comes Archie Manning Jr. to come in, and he's going to want to put the ball up to see what he's got. So you're going to get another 20, 28 points from Manning Jr. to say, look, I can play. He's not coming in to hand off. So now we're in the 60s. Rice still doesn't score. They don't have a quarterback. I got a new quarterback, whoever that is. Nobody good's running there. SMU's a different story, but not Texas. So Texas is in a game where they are embarrassed. They now have two good quarterbacks. Ewers is going to want to show his where to beat out Manning. Manning's going to – someone that we kept getting burned on Clemson a couple years ago when they would take Lawrence out and bring in Uglia-Buglia. And Uglia-Buglia would not only not score – he would turn the ball over and give up 14 points. All of a sudden, it's 30-0, and we're laying 20, and all of a sudden, it's 30-14 because Uglia-Buglia just threw 2 pick sixes, and they can't drive the ball. What they saw in Uglia-Buglia is I have no idea. This is the problem where you give a guy a high grade because he's athletic. Richardson, Lamar Jackson, ring a bell, and they're not a good quarterback. And playing against high school kids, you can't sit there and say, Well, he's really, look, he's great. He's so big and, he looks good against high school kids. Well, it's a big jump. It's like going from college to the pro. And this Richardson guy, he's going to stink. But Buglia kept killing us. Here we have the reverse. We got Arch Manning coming in, who's been trained by Archie Manning at his camp, I'm assuming. And he's going to come in and light it up. So look for another 3-4 touchdowns from him in the second half because he's going to want to prove it. So this is going to be this is probably like a 69-0 game. They will kill Rice. And Rice has no defense. Where you worry about the upset is the Iowa States, the Iowas, the Georgia, when not Georgia upsetting, but when you got a team with a defense like an Iowa State and an Iowa and an Illinois now, they pull the upset because you can't move on them. Look at Illinois, Michigan last year. It was like 17-14. It was a very low-scoring game because Illinois' defense kept them in the game. But when you have a weak defense like a Rice and like Lou Monroe, they can't stop the team, right? So they're just going to keep going. Army's going to want to check their new system, and all they got to do is win by one. And Texas is going to get Arch Manning out there, so yours is going to light them up, and then Arch Manning's going to light them up. So you're going to get a double. So that is your free teaser. Take Army minus about 1.5. All they got to do is win the game, and take Texas minus 29, and they'll cover that in the first quarter they're going to boil Rice. So that's your free pick. So let's get into, we'll go down to the Army game, which is 9-2. So Notre Dame, Navy 20, minus 20, 20.5, and 50. Navy, we know, runs the ball and can give you problems if you don't know how to defend it because you can't practice against Army and Navy. That's the most important thing I learned at poker. I was sitting next to Jim Harbaugh's roommate who played for Michigan. He was a defensive tackle, and he basically, we started talking football, of course. Or I started talking football, and he joins in. You know how I get at a table. And he played in the Bo Jackson game. There was a Sugar Bowl where Michigan was playing Auburn. It was Bo Jackson. And I says, Mo, you really handled him. They won. Michigan won. Auburn won like 9-7. He says, we were so well prepared for that game. Bo went over all the options and everything else, and we knew exactly how to defend him. But if you don't play, like Lou Monroe has no chance against Army when they're starting to run the wishbone and run and in their running game. Lou Monroe has no chance. They don't see it. Now, in Notre Dame Navy, Notre Dame sees Navy every year. So for Notre Dame, it's not a real big deal to see Navy and know how to defend it because you can't practice it because they run it at such a high speed. This is what I learned at poker. The reason you can't defend it is because you're going to run it with your third-string quarterback and the third-string running backs, and you're just kind of running it out. But when you got, hey, Nick, when you got the real McCoys running it, right, the real Navy teams, they're running it at a much faster speed. They're making the reads much faster, the options, the pitches. You're not used to that. It's not an offense you see all the time. It's a very devastating running offense. However, since Notre Dame sees them every year and they play Army, they're okay. So I don't think this game, I think Navy's got Hartman. I think they light it up on Navy, and I think Notre Dame's going to shut them out here. I got a feeling with Hartman, the defense tends to let down when they don't have a good quarterback because they go, oh, we can't win. Our quarterback sucks. They all know what's going on. And with Joe Montana, the defense played better. And with, Mahomes, the defense plays way over their heads because they know if we just hold them, Mahomes will win the game for us. And that's why they play the game to win it. Just a second. Hey, Nick, Yeah, I sent you an email. Doesn't you have all summer to prepare for triple option for the first game? They could have all year to prepare. It's not going to matter. They still are a terrible team. And like I just said, you can't really prepare for it in a practice because you can't run it at the speed that they run it at. Plus, Army's going to throw it more. I just like Army. I like their coach, of course, their offensive coordinator. And ULM sucks. So now, on the other hand, I like Notre Dame over Navy because they play them every year. But Louisiana Monroe doesn't play Army, and it's not something you can prepare. Even if you can prepare for it, Army's got the better team, and they're going to throw the ball more. So that argument doesn't hold water. Well, we love the coach, right? And Army's been to Oklahoma and they've been to Michigan and played them dead even. They lost to Michigan 24-21 because their offensive linemen false started at the Michigan one, or they would have won that game. So it's not like they can't drive on Michigan's and Oklahoma's. I don't think they're going to have trouble on Lou Monroe. All I can do is I got a good Army team with a new offensive coordinator throwing the ball a little bit more versus Lou Monroe, who sucks, with a new quarterback. And they're a W team. I mean, they don't score and their defense sucks. So you want to bet Lou Monroe? Be my guest. I would. This is a nice start for Army. They're a type of team that doesn't matter if they're on the road or at home. So anyway, send you an email, Nick. Let me know what you think. So in the first game with Hartman's going to light up the Navy. Excuse me. Just a second. One of my girls. Sorry about that. So anyway, Notre Dame with Hartman, I think, is going to light up Navy. They had a problem. Army did against Wake Forest. Now he's at Notre Dame. I just think their defense is going to be very strong. I don't know how good the coach is, but Hartman will take care of that. But when you got a Hartman, 20 down to 14, they'll handle that easy. I think it's 38-0. It's my score. New Mexico State 7.5, 44.5 over UMass. We know how bad UMass is. They're a Z team, so we bet against Z teams as long as we have a decent offense on the other side, which we do on New Mexico State. Pavia came in the middle of the year. The quarterback started lighting it up. And I don't see how that's going to stop. They're at home. I don't see UMass going to New Mexico State and beating them. I don't see they beat anybody. And it's just not who they are. I mean, they're probably the worst team in college football. So I like New Mexico State, as I've been telling you, laying 1.5. I just think they're too much. I like it better. It started at 9, so who in their right mind is betting UMass? Now, what I'm understanding is a lot of these, they're all algorithms and all this bullshit betting where they're just betting the number. So in other words, they're not looking at the teams and they're not looking at the games, and they're just seeing a number and betting the number. And it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. It doesn't work. It's like in baseball or football. It's like baseball and football. They're just doing algorithms, right? That's why in football they go for it on fourth down, because the algorithm says that 62% of the time you'll convert it or some bullshit like that. But not at your own 32-yard line. The Lions did that last week. I was watching, and they're at their own 32 and 4th and 1, and they go for it, and they miss it. I mean, that's just stupid football, right? None of the good coaches would do it. You think Parcells would ever in his right mind do a 4th and 1 at his own 30 with Lawrence Taylor? Or the 85 Bears. You think they'd ever go 4th and 1? Maybe with Walter Payton, but still with that defense, you're punting the ball 99 times out of 100. You have to know the whole procedure. Who do I got? Oh, I got the strong defense. That's the strength of my team. I'm going to go strength versus weakness, art of war, and I'm going to punt the ball and let them play it. There's no reward going for it at your own 32. Okay, you get it. Now what do you got? 1st and 10 at your own 33. What was your reward for risking giving up a touchdown at your own 32? None. Some of these guys go for it at their own 20. It's 4th and 1. We'll go for it. They're out of their fucking minds. This is the problem with algorithms. So I think a lot of these lines move because of the algorithm, because nobody in their right mind is going to bet UMass to beat New Mexico State. Even with 9.5, they don't have any talent. I mean, we could get 11 guys here and go beat UMass at UMass. I mean, they're a very weak team. So I got to play against the Z team there. San Diego State, Ohio. San Diego State 3-49. San Diego State, always a good defensive team, always an under team. Ohio's an over team. Not sure what you do with it. Now Rourke, I thought I see he's on Jacksonville, and I go, oh, they mistaken. He's not still on Ohio, and then it's his brother. So there's two Rourkes. So brother Rourke's on Jacksonville, and other Rourke's on Ohio. I don't know. I mean, my guess is Ohio can probably keep the game close because they're a very good MAC team. San Diego State's not going to blow them out. It should be a low-scoring game because San Diego State plays low-scoring. But Ohio is a weak – they're an over team, so their defense isn't that strong. But I don't think San Diego State can take advantage of it. So I think this will be a close game, 20-17, somewhere in that neighborhood. And I think I would take the under in the game if I wanted to play it. Being the first one, Ohio has to go time zone to San Diego to play it. And San Diego State's not that strong offensively. So I think it's how many defensive touchdowns can San Diego State score. But I think Ohio, this is when the MAC teams play the Big Ten teams. They get used to the better talent. So when they play a San Diego State, I don't think it'll be a big deal for them. So I like the game under. You could get some points if there's a lot of turnovers for touchdowns, but otherwise 20-17 or something. Hawaii, Vanderbilt. Vandy's 17.5, 56. Hawaii's a Z team. They don't score a lot. They have no defense. Vanderbilt's a W team, but plays in the SEC. There's a big difference. They don't have much of a defense, but again, that's playing SEC football. They're in Tennessee, so Hawaii has to fly to Tennessee, which has got to hurt them. I really don't know. We've got two returning quarterbacks. Now, again, it was Hawaii's. It was his first year for the coach ever and the new quarterback. Now they're in year two. The coach is a little more comfortable. The quarterback knows the system a little better. They've had the training camp, the spring practice, and now practice now to get used to it. So I think Hawaii puts up more points this year. I think Vanderbilt being an SEC team going, we can win a game because we're not playing Georgia, Alabama, LSU. So I think Vandy just kills them. I think it probably should be a high-scoring game because I think Hawaii is going to score more. Vandy will probably put up 50 points. Over under 56. This is probably a really good over at 50. It's a good low number. So I like the game over. San Jose State, USC. USC minus 30, 64. San Jose State's got a really good quarterback, Cordero. We know about USC's offense, Oklahoma. But USC doesn't have a defense. They probably still don't. He never had a defense at Oklahoma. This is the problem with this coach. He wants to play explosive pass offense. Wonderful. But that leaves you with no defense, a.k.a. Dan Fouts, a.k.a. Dan Marino. Never had a defense, never went to a Super Bowl. Well, Marino went to one when they had a good defense his rookie year. And that was it. He never went back because the defense needs to rest, and you cannot rest your defense when it's 4 passes and a touchdown. That's what Oklahoma did. So therefore, their defense, which was never any good. And now here comes USC, whose defense sucked. They're a great over team. Don't try to make them any not. I see right here on my college football magazine, and it lists the playoff teams. Georgia, yes. Michigan, maybe. Alabama, no chance. USC, no chance. Why do I say that? Georgia and Michigan have a defense. Have you seen SC's or Alabama's defense? SC does not have a defense. They cannot beat Utah. They won't probably be able to beat Oregon. They're okay against UCLA or teams, Washington, that don't have a defense, but they don't have a defense. So you got to understand that. They are not going to beat Hartman and Notre Dame. Well, I can't wait for that game. That could be a lock over if it's like, give me a 60. Please give me anything in the 60s, and that'll be a lock. Hartman against Oklahoma West with great offense, no defense. So in this game, San Jose State Cordero is a good quarterback. They had a good defense last year, but reading the book, the Bible, says a lot of their defensive guys left. They're going to be hurting defensively. Not that they could have really stopped USC. That means you now have probably a weaker defense with a good quarterback, Cordero, who should be able to put up 20 points on USC. USC is going to be good for 50. So you're in the 70s. It's over under 64 down to 58. So I like that game over. Bobby, so you like Air 5 a lot? For what the fuck? Air Force. Yeah, Air Force has a new quarterback this year. I loved Hanslick Daniels. Of course, he didn't get drafted, which I don't understand why. He's Lamar Jackson times 10 because he actually can complete passes, and he's a great option quarterback. So, great defense, great team, great coach. We'll have to see about the quarterback. Probably not bad because he's been there for a while, backing up Daniels. But, yeah, I normally love Air Force, those type of teams, because you just don't see them. You really can't practice them. They run the option, but they can throw. So this is what I'm assuming Army turns into Air Force. And good night, you'll never be able to beat them unless you're, Notre Dame or Michigan, one of these top teams, Georgia. But the teams they play, like here, Lou Monroe, they could not handle Air Force. Can't wait for just 3 weeks away from week 1. Bobby, college football is next week. Pro football is a few weeks away. Football put baseball to shame. Baseball season is a snooze. next to football. Well, the beauty of football is it's once a week, not every fucking day. It's you bet on it, which you really don't bet baseball is so hard to bet on. You're betting money lines. These people are funny. They start, I'm going to bet the 5th inning. I'm going to bet a 5-inning game. Who the fuck knows? I mean, that's really, it's like these guys that bet how many yards will a receiver get? How many yards does the quarterback throw for? Who the fuck knows? Who the fuck cares? You got to analyze the team. And if they have a really good defense, I'm betting them on their defense. I'm not betting their offense. It's just so, you bet a little on it, but not. The basics is looking for defense. That's why we're betting Army in Texas. Rice and Lou Monroe do not have a defense. It's going to be loaded up, but they have fairly good defenses. Texas would not surprise me if they shut out Rice, nor would it surprise me if Army shuts out Lou Monroe. What I like about Army is they're only laying 1.5. Even if it gets close and competitive, an Army's up 10. They're going to, okay, they win. I mean, so we don't need a lot for Army to win. And Army's going to win the game. That's the biggest part. Texas is a little different. They got to win by 29. But with Arch Manning coming in, they're going to score more. So I'm not worried about it. So I don't know what you're talking about, Bobby. College football is next week. Pro football is in 3 weeks. NFL. Put in NFL, then I'll be with you. Anyway, check your email, Nick. Quit worrying about, you want to bet Lou Monroe's? That's not what I taught you. So let me know what you're thinking, and then anybody else. So basically, if you want to play, if you want to pay me an installment, so you want to buy the year, it's $750, and it's a little steep now. So if you want to go $250, you could do that. Or if you want to, weekly is just $100. So I really, what am I going to do with that? But the locks are $77. The locks, I think, are $500 for the year. You just get locks. If you buy pro, you get all the pros plus the pro locks. You only just don't get the college lock. So this week I got a college lock going. You wouldn't get it if you bought if you bought the locks, you would get the college lock. But if you bought the pro package, you wouldn't get the college lock. But since there's no pros, it doesn't matter. Or people who bet the coin toss and the Super. Well, people bet for the action. It's what they do. So they're the same people who buy Bitcoin or have their money in the stock market or have their money in the banks. I'll come back. We'll do a gold video after this, but I want to differentiate this football one from economics. So we got USC over just because strong offense, no defense. San Jose State has a good quarterback, so he will be able to help the over. Florida International, Lou Tech. Lou Tech's got the Boise quarterback transferred there, Backenbauer, who wasn't very good at Boise. Here you got Florida International. Florida International is a Z team. They don't score and no defense. Lou Tech is an over team. They can score, but now they got a new quarterback, Backenbauer. So we have to see how good he is. Over under a 59, L-Tech lane 10.5. Again, it's too early to tell. This is probably take L-Tech because I don't think when you bet an over, you want two good quarterbacks, theoretically. When you bet an under, you want two good defenses. Well, in this situation, L-Tech, they don't have a defense, but Florida International doesn't have an offense. That's why I code it. I can just look at them as a Z and I go, well, they're going to score 10 points here and give up 40. So if L-Tech scores 40 but gives up 40, how is Florida International going to score 40 on them? They don't have a good offense. So then I go to L-Tech, Louisiana Tech, And I'll give 4.5. So they just win by a touchdown against this shitty Florida International team. So what you learn week 1 and week 2 is, are they still shitty? Are they still a Z team, or did they get better? Did they find a quarterback and all that? Because that's what happens. Van Dyke and Rising were not there in the beginning of the year. So they were not very good teams. And then they switched quarterbacks, and all of a sudden they put up 50 points a game. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on? This is not an over team. But with Van Dyke and Rising, then I could see, the quarterbacks come in and throw 5 touchdowns. Okay, now I get it. See, I can make the adjustment. Vegas was too slow to make the adjustment. Miami stayed at a 46, and they'd score 40 by themselves with Van Dyke. So that's what I find out as we're watching. What's the difference between this year and last year? You could never have predicted Van Dyke. He's third string quarterback. Question is, why is the coach putting him at third string? And that's why the coach is gone. And his new coach is going to be gone real soon if he keeps fucking up with if you can't win with Van Dyke, who are you going to win with, man? You got one of the best quarterbacks in college. Anyway, so I think I'll lay the 4.5 would be the play. UCF, Kent State. UCF was a very good team. They were an A team last year. They're laying 35 here, over under a 58. Kent State, I don't know. They have a new coach, the quarterback, Schlee, transferred to UCLA. I don't know if he's going to start there or not. So you have a mess at Kent State. They were a very high-scoring team. We loved them 2 years ago when they had a balanced. They get 200 yards rushing and 200 yards passing, which is exactly what we look for. So I don't know if they're going to be the same over team they were. This is you don't have a clue right now. You got to wait this game and probably the second game. Now, will they be good in MAC? Probably, but who knows? UCF laying 35 with Plumlee. Plumlee's a running quarterback from Ole Miss. He gave you trouble, Bobby, in the LSU game. He ran for like 500 yards. Basically, keep getting these hairs. Basically, I think the spread's too high to take UCF because Kent State's unknown. They're not a bad team. They are explosive. The new coach comes in. What's he going to do? I've seen it fuck up. They fucked up Jordan Love, where he was really good and then he really sucked. So the new coach can have problems. So we got to see this team. We don't know. Right now, Kent State is nothing. They're not an over. They're not an under. They're not an A. They're not a Z. What are they going to be in 3 or 4 weeks? In 6 weeks, we have yet to determine. So we cannot make a pick on this game because we don't have a clue. NC State and UConn. NC State minus 15.5, over under 47.5. NC State has normally a murderous defense, very strong defense. Both teams have new quarterbacks, and neither have a new. So the same coach is there. NC State's coach is very good. The quarterback, Leary, leaves NC State for Kentucky. So you really want to play Florida, Georgia, and Tennessee instead of North Carolina, Duke, and Wake Forest? I don't know. That quarterback's a bit weird to me. Connecticut was a W team last year. They were a Z team. They're getting a little bit better. They're playing a little bit better. They still have a weak defense. They're scoring a little bit more. NC State is an under team. They don't score a lot. They're like Iowa. They don't score a lot, but they got a killer defense. I don't think Connecticut really, with new quarterbacks, gonna put up a big number here. NC State could put up a bigger number because Connecticut's defense is weak. I think this is like 28-10 NC State. So I like it under. It's 47. You go under 53. I like that. I think that's probably a good play with you still have the coaches there, but with the new quarterbacks, it takes them a couple games to get the speed of college football versus high school, no matter how much you practice. So I like this game under. Florida, Utah. We already know who I like, right, Nick? Utah's an 18. They won the Pac-10. They should have been in the playoff. They got screwed. Rising, as far as I know, has been practicing. He's got a little knee thing, a knee brace on. Florida brings in Graham Mertz from Wisconsin. I'm not really scared of Graham Mertz. Florida was an over team. So here's where I make my decision. Florida did not have a very good defense last year. Georgia put up 50 points on them. Utah is a very good defense. Now, yes, USC put up 40 on them, but that's USC putting 40 up on everybody. However, against most teams, Utah has a very good defense. Add that to Cam Rising being back. Add it to a revenge game. Add it to a red out. I was reading on Twitter yesterday, Utah, to see if Rising's okay. And they're going to do a red out. Now, you know, Penn State does the white out and all these teams dress in the same color, the stands. They're doing a red out. They are so psyched up for this game. I love Utah in this game. Minus a half a point at home in a red out, in a revenge. Rising's playing. Then I'm looking at all these award things. The tight end's up for best tight end. The linebackers are up for the Butkus Award. All of them. They are so talented this year. I would imagine they'll make the playoffs because they have the strong defense that I need and Cam Rising. And the tight ends, to replace Kincaid, this tight end's even better, which he loves throwing to the tight ends. They got good running. They are a good coach team. Utah is a top 5 team. They will win the Pac-10. They will beat USC. That's why I do not have any hope for USC because they don't have a defense. Utah should be in the playoff. They'll be in it next year with 12 teams. I hope they're in it this year. But they play such a hard schedule. UCLA, USC, Oregon, and Washington. Good fight. It's a fucking nightmare, the Pac-10, but they don't give them any credit. Utah in a revenge, in a red out, minus a half. There you go. Minnesota, Nebraska. I know, Bobby, you like Nebraska for a minute. Minnie's laying 7, over under a 46. Matt Rule's the new coach. Both teams have new quarterbacks. Minnesota gave up 12 points a game last year. I don't think anything changes. I think Minnesota shuts them out. Rule, pretty good defensive coach, not a really good when he was at Temple, they play good defense. I think this is 13-3 or something like that. I don't see any scoring in this game. I like the under. It's 46.5, 47. You go under 53. Where is that going to come from? Minnesota will run the ball, and he's not going to really – he didn't trust his last quarterback, Morgan. I don't see him trusting whoever the new one is. Nebraska couldn't do anything with Martinez and Scott Frost, who was a good offensive mind. So I don't see anything here. Weak offense, Nebraska. Weak defense. Minnie's going to run the ball, play defense. This will be very low scoring. And we'll go all the way to Army. Let me see, Bobby. Looking forward to 15 days from now when LSU stomps Florida State's ass. All right. I bet Kenzie is a UMass fan. Well, she actually said she lived in New Hampshire, but when I go on her Twitter, she's from LA and Vegas. So I keep asking her to meet her in Vegas, but she says she wants to come here. Yeah, okay. Is Mario Cristobal still the Miami coach? Yes, he is, and he's terrible. He was nothing at Oregon. I don't know why Miami's wasting time, except he used to play linebacker there, which doesn't make him a good coach. So I'm not really understanding. I don't really smell what they're cooking in Miami to go with this guy who's not a very good coach. Like I said, he's got Van Dyke, and he averaged 20 points a game because he ran the ball. But this year, he realizes he fucked up, brought in an offensive coordinator to run the air raid. I'm expecting Miami to really light it up this year. We'll see. My veggie omelet with some chicken in it. All right. I'll go down to Army. Miami of Florida against Miami of Ohio. Gabbert for Miami of Ohio is not very good. Van Dyke, we know, we love. New air raid offense. Look for them to put up a lot of points. Miami of Ohio does not have a very good offense. They have a good defense, but Van Dyke's going to outclass them. Miami had a decent offense, but it should be an over, and then we'll see how the defense reacts. I'm expecting a little bit more. I think Miami minus 11 is a good play here. I just think Van Dyke's going to light it up, put up 40 points, and I don't see Miami of Ohio being able to stay with them. Central Michigan, Michigan State. Central Michigan minus 14.5. Thorne, I thought was the quarterback, is now on Auburn, so they've got a new quarterback. They lost their receiver. Central got a new quarterback who apparently sucks, although their coach is an offensive coach. Both teams are kind of ease. So they score mid-20s, give up mid-20s. Neither defense is great. The over-under is 48. With new quarterbacks, I don't know what to tell you on that. I think I went to the gold store yesterday, Bobby, just for you. And we started talking football, and it came up like, well, do you bet football? And I go, no, I handicap it. Are you any good? I'm the best. So the guy got all interest. He says, well, come in next week, start giving me some picks. I'll tell you what, start giving me some gold. I'll start giving you some picks all day. Give me a quarter ounce. I'll give you my picks. I didn't buy any yesterday. I bought 11 ounces of silver because I had bought the 4 ounces the week before, and then I'm looking for a quarter ounce to buy. And they had 2 Cougarans, and then they had a bunch of the Credit Suisse bars, little 1 ounce bars, which I don't want. I would have got it if that was it and I wanted to buy ounces, but I'll just wait. I'll go next week and buy an ounce and a couple of quarters or whatever. So now he wants my picks. I'm like, okay, well, you got a bunch of gold and silver. I will accept those. Anyway, so we in this game, I don't know. Michigan State and Central are both question marks. Michigan State's terrible. Their coach is terrible. Central's got a good offensive coach. Not sure about defense. They've never been anything. I think this game gets over. Even though the quarterbacks are new, I think they're both, the Michigan State quarterback, I'm sure he's somewhat decent. But you never know. So these are question mark games. This is watch the box score, and then we have to figure out both of these teams. Are they over? Are they unders? I'm assuming that Michigan State's an over team. Central is going to be an over team, but at this point, I don't know. So I'm passing. There's no reason. Again, it's return on investment. Why risk on this game that you have no idea? It's the same return. Let's say we find William Hill, and it's 11-10. Well, it doesn't matter what 2 games you pick at 11-10. I'd rather play Army, Texas over fucking around with Central Michigan, Michigan State. That's what it is. So that's my point. I'd rather do that than fuck around, because it's the same word. I get 11-10. I bet 110 to win 100. But why do I want to bet 110 on Central Michigan, Michigan State when I am clueless of who their quarterbacks are, how's their offense look, how's their defense look? So therefore, I only know the coach sucks. So from what I do with that, I don't know. But I was going to say the guy at the coin store then said, he starts asking me, says, well, what about Michigan State this year? And I go, they're going to suck. I mean, they'll be lucky to win 4 games. So he didn't like that, but it was like, well, I'm telling you the truth. You'll see. They're going to suck. Louisville and Georgia Tech. Louisville an over team. Georgia Tech a W. They don't score a lot. Both teams have weak defenses. Louisville can score. Brom moves from Purdue back to Louisville. His brother or son is the offensive coordinator. So they're going to be explosive, Louisville. Probably won't have a defense. Key, the Georgia Tech assistant coach, is now the head coach. New quarterbacks for both teams. Georgia Tech wasn't much of scoring anyway, and no defense. I look for Louisville to light it up here because of Braun. They're going to bring in that system and it scores. And I don't think Georgia Tech with no defense is going to do anything. So I'm laying 8. I can cut it to 2, and all Louisville has to do is win by 3. They've got the better offensive mind. I love betting the offensive coaches in this case. So in this case, the Louisville quarterback will be far advanced over the Georgia Tech quarterback. So I like Louisville -2. Stanford, Hawaii. Stanford laying 7.5, 58. We get the new quarterback at Stanford. They suck. They're a terrible team. I don't know how they're favored on the road, so they're going to go to Hawaii and blow out Hawaii. Well, Hawaii gets Vanderbilt. So we will see what Vanderbilt does against Hawaii. So Hawaii flies to Tennessee, plays Vanderbilt, gets their ass kicked, learns something. Maybe they score more, and then they fly back to Hawaii for Stanford. Both teams are Z teams. Stanford can't score. Now, they will score against Hawaii. If Bobby quarterbacked and I was the receiver, we would put up 4 touchdowns on Hawaii. Stanford, they don't have much. And I don't know. It's a tough 58. It's a tough number because I don't know what points I'm getting. I think Hawaii gets me some. I don't know what Stanford's going to do. Probably this will go over because both teams are so bad. But again, you don't have offenses, and you got to be careful. If Stanford lights up Hawaii, you almost can't count it because who did you do it against? Now, if you do it against Utah, if Stanford puts up 42 on Utah, okay, I'm betting them over the rest of the year. But if you do it against Hawaii, I haven't learned anything. I have no idea what Hawaii is. They're a terrible team. So if you score 40 on them, it doesn't mean anything. Kansas puts up 60 on them last year, but then went on and beat Duke. And then I said that. And then they beat Houston. That was my first lock with Kansas last year, was against Houston, because Houston was explosive, and I knew Kansas was, and it was still like a 50 because Vegas is clueless. So that was the first lock, and then we locked him against Duke, and then we locked him against Oklahoma, and it was just lock Kansas over because the line was ridiculously low. And then the only one we laid away from was the Iowa State game, and they beat Iowa State 14-11. So it was beautiful. But that's what we learned the first few weeks. Who's the new Kansas? Is Kansas still Kansas? And that's what we go. And then we've talked about Army and Lou Monroe. I'll give you one more. East Carolina, Michigan -35. The over-under went from 55 to 51.5. Michigan, their running back still hurt. He got hurt against Illinois and was out. Blake Shapen, I think. So he's the quarterback sucks. Strong defense. They've been running both football. They've just been running it into the line 52 times, and the quarterback throws a few passes. East Carolina was an over team last year. Their quarterback, Ehlers, I read him in one of the box scores in the pros. You got a new quarterback. They're going to be in trouble. Michigan's defense probably gets a shutout here. I'm not worried about East Car scoring. And Michigan's laying 35, which seems like a big number without the running back. So another running back will step up. I like this game under 51.5, under 57.5. Michigan wins 42-0 or something like that. Or somewhere close to that 35 number. So that's college week 1. We've talked about Army, Texas as the free pick. We've explained why. Manning Jr. is going to let Texas go over and cover a lot. Now you got the starter who's going to throw, and Manning is not going to come in and hand off. Peyton would never stand for it. So you're gonna see that a nice 1-point fourth quarter with Manning Jr. in there, and that's going to put him over a lot. And against Rice, they're going to need it against Oklahoma. That could be a lock over because Oklahoma can't play defense. And they've got Gabriel, who's a very good quarterback. So That's your play. Army, Texas, free play, teaser. Try to get 11 to 10 or even money. There's a lock. So if you buy the package, you're going to get the lock, and you're going to get, and you've got that game. So you can play a 4-team teaser if you want. A 3-team, you can put them in multiple teasers. So maybe you play Army with Utah. Maybe you play New Mexico State with Texas. A 4-team teaser. The Michigan under, what do we got? Minnesota under, Miami of Ohio, Louisville. I'm not playing all these games, but I'm giving you my expert analysis on each game. So that's what we have week 1. Don't worry, we'll cover the rest of them as we get closer. Now let's look at NFL preseason. There was 3 games yesterday. So today, Jacksonville, Detroit. Now, I don't know how anybody in the right mind could bet on 4th-string talent. The only team I like is New Orleans. Hayner did come in. Hayner got the win last week for New Orleans. The only way you can bet this game if a team has like 2 or 3 good quarterbacks. Otherwise, I don't know how you bet it. So Jacksonville, Detroit. We did see Rourke for Jacksonville last week. Detroit, I would imagine Bridgewater plays. Jacksonville's 2.5. I don't know why or how. I have no – if this is a regular season game, I would take Detroit in 8.5. But after 2 or 3 weeks, because I don't know what they're – see, everybody thinks they're going to be the same offense as last year, except for me, because you've lost your running back. You've lost the key to your team because he gives you balance. Goff is not the key to the team. It was the running back. His name's Williams, who went to New Orleans. He signs as a free agent. This is Lions football. Whenever they get a guy who's about to make a big contract or renew, they get rid of him. Big play Slay, Chris Spielman. The Lions are cheap and they don't pay. That's why they never win. I guarantee you they will not pay Goff his salary. That's why they brought Bridgewater in. That's why they drafted Hooker. We can't – he's not that good. We can't pay him $30 million. So we'll pay Bridgewater. We'll try to get Hooker in and see how good he is. And if he recovers, then that'll be their future, Bridgewater or Hooker. Should be Hooker. If they know how to put in the right offense for him like they did at Tennessee. I'd call up Tennessee, what's your offensive scheme? Or I would draft the guy, well, you got Hooker, and I'd go to Hooker and say, okay, we're going to put in your offense. What did you run at Tennessee? We're going to run it here. Because you watch, Milton will light it up. He sucked at Michigan, goes to Tennessee, lights it up in the bowl game. You watch him light it up. That's the system. That's my problem with the Alabama and Ohio State. They light it up. And why I like Rising and Van Dyke, Miami was not lighting it up with De'Ara King. And then Van Dyke comes in and they light it up. That tells me it's the quarterback, not the system. Same thing at Utah. They weren't doing anything. In comes Rising. It's 40 points a game. It's the fucking quarterback. That kid's a winner. I want to bet on winners. So that's what I would do. All right. So I don't know. Jacksonville, Detroit. Houston 2 over Miami. You got to be kidding. But again, who does Miami now that they lost Bridgewater, I don't know their backup quarterback. Tua, who knows if they'll play him. They're so worried he's going to get a concussion that I don't see that. Houston, if they're out of their fucking minds, if they think C.J. Stroud's going to be their starter, Indy name Richardson their starter, is Indy out of their fucking minds? If Indy starts Richardson and doesn't go to what's his name? What the fuck? And they don't go to Minshew or Ellinger. You drafted Ellinger out of Texas, who's very good. What the fuck aren't you using him for? Why would you bring in Richardson? You have Ellinger and Minshew. Richardson's not any bad. I could see if you had Van Dyke or Rising or Hartman, then we're going to start them. But this guy's not better than what they have. So we will see. If they play Richardson the whole year, they won't win a game. They'll end up 0-17 and get the first pick. So I don't know what you do here. Here, I could see Houston, because you're going to go to Minshew and Ellinger, who's far better than whoever Miami has. Richardson probably should play the whole first quarter, but I doubt it. God knows he needs work, right? This is what I don't understand the coach. Well, we don't want to get him hurt. He needs work because you're not going to win with him, even if he's not injured. He's like one of these hitters on the Tigers hitting 160. It doesn't matter. He's not going to do anything. He can't hit. So I guess Houston's probably a good play with Minshew and Ellinger as your quarterbacks against who's on Miami. Buffalo Pitt, that would be a nice game. Buffalo 1.5, 42.5. I almost like this game under because of Pitt's defense. Pitt played all their quarterbacks last week. Buffalo did not play Josh Allen. Probably won't play him here because Pitt's a physical team. They got a good defense. We'll probably get them hurt, so we won't play them because they're too tough. So I do like probably this game under. The Bears against Indy. Fields had a couple of lucky breaks last week. 3 for 3 for 125. I doubt we'll ever see that again. I love how they're, Fields for MVP. Oh, really? He's going to beat out Mahomes, Burrow, Rodgers. Oh, okay. Even Herbert at San Diego, Russell Wilson. There's a lot better than you, boy. So I don't like Fields. And, he'll run. Then who do you got for Indy? You got Richardson here. Is Richardson Indy? I got my Stroud's Houston. Yeah, Richardson's Indy. I'm sorry. Did I talk Houston? Yeah, so it's Indy. Yeah, Indy's the one with the quarterback. So I would bet Indy here or over. And Houston's got garbage, and Houston's got Mills and Stroud. So I would think Mills would be out there. Yeah. So I like Indy has two good quarterbacks in Richardson. So my apologies. Richardson's on Indy. Take me a while to get used to that, which pathetic quarterback's out there. Fields will play a little, then that's it. And Indy's got their quarterbacks. So I like Indy here. Indy's laying 5. So they're pretty quick to catch on to the backup quarterbacks. But, again, you can't really bet it. But probably an over. Fields, he should play the whole first half, but he probably won't because he might get hurt. Tampa and the Jets. The Jets -4. Tampa has Mayfield and Trask, so they'll probably both play because they don't know what the starter is. And the Jets with Rodgers. Now, as I said, they got offensive line issues, so they've got to sign. They're trying to work. I was reading this morning, they're trying to work out a trade with Green Bay to get Biakti, who never plays, or Bakhtiari, and a couple other guys. So I don't know. You really can't find a Michigan and Ohio State guy who's a free agent who started for them. You can't really find these guys. How bad are your guys? I mean, they're all fucking pros. They played in college. They started. How bad can they be? So I look at the Jets. I can't imagine they can't get out. It's like Cincinnati. Everybody's saying how bad their offensive line is or injured. They did fine. They made it. They should have made it to the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow just kind of sidestepped. I'm sure Rodgers will figure it out too, and they'll get some better linemen. You watch, they'll make some sort of trade and bring in a couple of linemen. But I can't believe they're that bad. So hard to say, though. So Tampa's got 2 quarterbacks that are going to play. The Jets, Rodgers won't. Zach Wilson's look good, but that's all they got. So it's a tough game there. New England and Green Bay. I would expect Zappe to play, which is the best quarterback on the field. Love stinks. And who's their backup? So let's Okay. So let's go. Green Bay has Love and Sean Clifford. So Love's probably should play the whole game because he needs it, but he won't. And then New England's got Zappy, Jones, and Zappy. So Jones won't play much, but Jones shouldn't even be on the team. Zappy should play a half. So it's probably a live dog, New England, because of Zappy. Tennessee, Minnesota. I believe Tannehill is on Tennessee with Levis and Willis. So they got two weak backups. I don't see Levis doing anything or Willis. So it'll be Tannehill against Minnesota, who's got Cousins and Nick Mullins. We know Cousins stinks. Mullins is probably not better. Until Cousins and Jefferson play, you can't even. It's probably a Tennessee. KC, Arizona, we know Mahomes. He'll probably play the first series, throw 5 for 5 for a touchdown. He'll be done. Kansas City. Mahomes and Shane Boucher from Texas and SMU, I believe. He's really good. Arizona, God, they're a nightmare. Toon and McCoy. Yeah, Kansas City, well, they're laying 7.5. Jesus Christ. I mean, this is who knows? I mean, if Mahomes is going to play the first half, I'd say, yeah, he'll put up 40, but I mean, maybe he plays the first quarter, I hope, but very tough one. Denver, Frisco, this is a very good game. Russell Wilson played. You've got Russell Wilson and you've got Stidman from Auburn up against Winobody and Darnold. Purdy and Donald. Lance sucks. I mean, so it's what you're going to get out of Purdy if he plays, and then Darnold, who's not very good. So Russell Wilson and Stidman. So Denver's got the better quarterback, but Frisco's got the better defense. Again, you don't know. I can't even say over under. Maybe an under with the Niner defense. I think they tend to play the defense more of the game. They just pull the quarterback. Like the linemen play most of the game. And then I'm looking at box scores. There's 10 wide receivers that I never heard of and 5 running backs. So they're really not playing the starters. That's why I laugh when the Lions draft this Williams from Alabama or this running back from Alabama, 2 flops. You got 10. You should have 10 receivers, right? So one's not really more important than the other. I mean, very rarely. Okay, Randy Moss, Jerry Rice, I get it, but most of these guys are not really that much different than the rest. There's so much passing in college now. Just go to Texas Tech or go to TCU, grab their receiver. I mean, it's not really hard. Oakland and the Rams. Oakland's favored by 4.5. Oakland, we've got Garoppolo and O'Connell from Purdue. Seriously? Going against the Rams with Stenson Benson, our favorite quarterback. I like Stenson, but if he plays a half, I think the Rams in 10.5 are a good play here because Garoppolo will play the first couple of series and he'll sit down. And then what? Stidman? Who's Oakland? O'Connell from Purdue. He couldn't beat Illinois and Indiana. He's going to beat the Rams. Aaron Donald, I don't know. He'll probably play a little bit. Cooper Kupp with the knee. But Benson looks really good. So we like Stenson Bennett. Absolutely. Dallas, Seattle. I like Dallas. I like this game over. This is a 40.5 because Dallas, Prescott, we know sucks, but they've got Cooper Rush, and they got my man Will Greer from West Virginia and Florida. This guy's a stud. He should be their starter, but I don't think they're that intelligent. They'll play Prescott because they pay him. But I definitely like Greer, and I think Greer's the best quarterback on the field, even if Geno Smith's on there. So Seattle with Smith, are they going to play him? And Locke, Drew Locke, he was decent at Missouri. He wasn't anything at Denver. I think Dallas is Seattle -7, and you got Will Grier. Yeah, I like Dallas in 13 in this game all day long. Even maybe an over at 40, over 34. Both of those are good plays. New Orleans, San Diego. New Orleans, as we talked about, has Haener, it has Carr, it has Winston. This is the best team to bet on. They got 3 good quarterbacks. So you're going to get against the weak defenses in the second half. They should light it up. They won the first game. San Diego, now we know what they got. They've got Herbert, and then they got this guy Stick, who I think's from Eastern Washington. One of these Division II, like North Dakota States, but only he actually is a quarterback. I'll take Haener and Winston over this Stick. I like New Orleans. They're laying 3.5. That should be no problem. Probably an over too, because I think when Haener gets out there, he'll throw a few touchdowns. So look for that. Baltimore, Washington. We got Lamar, who won't see the field because he doesn't need it. And Huntley, I believe from Utah, who's pretty good, but not anything great, against Washington, who has nobody. Howell and Brissett. What a weak quarterbacking tandem. This game's under 38.5. Go under in this game. All right, let's look at the 3 yesterday. Cleveland, Philly, 18-18. How the fuck do you get to those numbers? Twice. A safety by Cleveland and then a 2-point conversion by Philly at the end of the game. Let's just go into the box scores. That's all. Our man, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, UCLA, 13-25, 164 yards. I saw a nice pass on the highlights where he hit this guy at the 10-yard line. Kellen Mond from Texas A&M, 12-24 for only 126. So Thompson-Robinson throws 13-25 for 164. This guy's 12-24 for 126. Does hit the touchdown, but he's in there late in the game. Philadelphia's in big trouble. Tanner McGee, what the fuck are they doing with this guy? He thinks it's he's like Davis Mills. He's as bad as him. And Mariota, 9-17, 52%. I love Mariota. And 1 intercept. Mariota, what is he doing? Why are you wasting time with this guy, Philadelphia? It's bad enough you got Tanner McGee. So if Hurts gets hurt, they won't win another game if that's their backup. Cleveland, I'm all over Thompson-Robinson. Trade Watson, trade Prescott, go with these other guys. They're much, much better. Rushing, now here's where, who knows? Felton, good luck. Kelly, 8 for 20. Thompson-Robinson ran 4 times for 18. See, that's what you want from your quarterback. He runs a few times when it breaks down. 4 times, not Lamar running 25 times or Fields for 150 yards. That's not what you want from your quarterback. Philadelphia, Trey Sermon from Oklahoma, 5 for 54, a 33-yarder for a touchdown. Brooks, I don't know. Rashad Penny, he's always hurt, 2 for 18. I heard him on the thing. And then my man, I think their best running back is Gainwell from Memphis. That guy was great as a freshman. And then I think he got hurt. And then he sat out or got hurt the next year, and then Philly drafted him. Excellent running back, good out of the backfield. Just you couldn't tackle the guy. So I really like Gainwell of Philly. He'll be their best running back. Receiving, I have no idea. Nothing really rings a bell. Philly, T. Jackson, I don't know, 2 for 41. Nagatna, him I heard of, 3 for 39. Bill Russell, I thought he was on the Celtics, 22. And that's Trey Sermon, 1 for 4. I don't know anybody. So this is my point. Look, you got 15 receivers, and they went out and wasted their money on Downtown Brown from Houston when you've got a bunch. And the same thing with Cleveland. Watkins, 7 for 139. I mean, what do you? So I don't even know who he is, but we'll find that out. I'm not worried about those guys now. So it all really is the quarterback. The best quarterback on the field, Thompson-Robinson. better than Hurts, better than Watson. So they've got to figure that out. But let him watch the first 4 or 5 games. Let him learn it. But this is good. He's getting game time experience. So he'll do great. See, that's the thing. He goes to UCLA. He learns under what's Chip Kelly. So he teaches him all these pro offenses and the reading and the schemes. So when he comes to the pros, he's already prepared. Unlike the Alabama and Ohio State quarterbacks come to the pros and can't read a defense, Thompson Robinson's lighting it up already in the first 2 exhibition games because he played for Chip Kelly. That's why that's why Tennessee and TCU, their quarterbacks will be ready to play. I'm not sure. Oklahoma, I'm not sure. USC's will not be because none of the Oklahoma quarterbacks. You had Baker Mayfield, you got Hurts, you got Baker, Hurts, and Kyler Murray. None of them are good pros. All right. The Giants 21, Carolina 19 last night. We got Matt Corral for Carolina, 9 of 13, 71 yards. Jay Luton, I thought he played at Oregon State. Wasn't bad. 2 of 7 for 41 yards. And Bryce Young, the superstar from Alabama, 3 of 6 for 35 yards. Basically dumping it down. I'd rather have Corral. Looks much better than Bryce Young at this point. He played at Mississippi. I don't see much of a talent difference. It's going to be hard for Young because the Alabama system is I got all these fast receivers and college defenses can't handle them. So it's all scheme. Now he's not going to have that in the NFL. Look at him, 3 of 6 for 35 yards. Why is he only playing like a series? This should be there the first half. He needs to experience the NFL if he's going to play. So the argument is, well, he might get hurt. Oh, so what happens in the first game? Are you going to play him or he might get hurt in the first game? Well, that's a real game, so then he can get hurt, but he can't get hurt in the preseason. But he's playing lesser players. He gets a chance to get the feel of the NFL and get the feel. It's like, Bobby, it's like you, like playing AAA ball and then you play Major League ball. You need to get out there and hit big league pitching. There's no substitute for it. You can't hit the machine, and you can't hit batting practice. You got to hit Nolan Ryan to understand what it's like to hit in the big leagues. And you can't worry about getting hurt. I might get hit by the pitch. I might pull a hamstring swinging. It doesn't matter. You don't worry about getting hurt. You worry about you need the experience. And that's what the babying Bryce Young, I have no idea why. He's not that good anyway. Corral is probably better, but look at Carolina. They won't do shit. Bryce Young, they'll probably be close to the number one. They'll be close to winning 1 or 2 games. New York Giants, Tyrod Taylor, 9 of 13, 90 yards. Danny DeVito, 9 of 11 for 88 yards. And Daniel Jones finally makes a little bit more of an appearance, 8 of 9 for 69 yards. So we've got Tyrod Taylor and Danny DeVito completing 9 for about 90 yards, and Jones completes 8 for 69 yards. Enough said. This is the problem. Taylor and Jones had 1 touchdown. Why are you worried about Jones getting hurt? You should be happy he gets hurt. Then you can put in Danny DeVito, 9 of 11. He's your quarterback. Tyrod Taylor, he's okay. I thought he sucked at like Virginia Tech, and then he started playing, and he's okay. He's decent. He's a decent backup. Rushing. Blackshear, who I like from Virginia Tech, 8 for 31. Chuba Hubbard from Oak State, 8 for 30. He rushed for 2,000 yards at Oak State, Chuba Hubbard. S. Brown, I don't know who that is, 10 of 26. Corral can run. Bryce Young, 1 of 1. Oh, I guess he's not going to do what he did against Texas late in the game. Corral's a pretty good runner from Ole Miss. I like Blackshear and Hubbard, but they're in big trouble. This is their running attack, and this is their quarterbacks. The Giants, Tyrod Taylor, 3 for 21, way too much. Earl Gray, 5 of 16. Jackie Robinson, 4 of 10. Jones, 1 for 6. And Danny DeVito, 5 times for 2 yards. He was not a runner at Syracuse, but he's a good quarterback, as he showed at Illinois last year. They they almost beat Michigan with him. So he's a very good quarterback. I have no problem with that. So the better quarterbacks are on the Giants, which is hard to say, but with Jones. Receiving, I don't know. Is this still Steve Smith? Is he still playing 4 for 59? Mingo, I've heard of from Alabama, 1 of 15. Adam Thielen, he's on Carolina, 1 of 7. Good luck there. Now, this guy's very good. Laviska Shenault played for Colorado, was an All-American. Went to Jacksonville, was very good. So Carolina has 2 receivers in Shenault and Thielen. So that not really going to help, Young very much, but it'll be okay. They got Isaiah Thomas, two catches for -3 yards. The Giants, Jay Hyatt, 4 for 35. Waller, now I've heard that name, 3 for 30. Oh, he was from Oakland. He's the tight end from Oakland. Crowder from Duke, I've heard of him. He's really good. Pimpleton from Central Michigan. I've won money on him scoring touchdowns for CMU, 2 for 18. So they're not as bad, the Giants. 2 shitty teams, basically. And the last, Cincinnati, 13. Atlanta, what is this? 18-18, 20-13-13. Cincinnati, Atlanta, without Burrow, I could see this game being low scoring, 3-3 at the half. Now, this was interesting. Cincinnati takes the lead with a minute left, 13-10. And Atlanta, we don't care about if we win or lose, all of a sudden cares if they win or lose, goes down and gets the ball at the 20, and the guy kicks a 45-yard field goal with 6 seconds left to tie it at 13. So I didn't think preseason meant anything, but it does for Atlanta. So give Atlanta props getting the tie. Give Cincinnati props for going down on a 60-yard drive and getting a touchdown late in the game. So we've got Jay Browning, I believe is the Washington Husky quarterback who sucked, and Trevor Siemian from Northwestern. So you can see it's all Joe Burrow there, and they got to keep him healthy. So I doubt he'll play next week. Then the bye, I guarantee he plays week 1. And we'll have to get our Cincinnati money in before then. They're laying 1. We want +5 in Cincinnati before it goes back to -3 Cincinnati. Atlanta, oh my God. Tyler Heineke, 13 of 21. We know he stinks. Desmond Ridder, 7 of 9. Not bad at Cincinnati. He's a good quarterback. He's not great, but you can count on him. And Logan Woodside's the guy who got the drive at the end from Toledo. Very good quarterback. He drove 80 yards for the go-ahead touchdown with a minute left. I like Woodside. He's the best of the 3 that they got. Obviously, Burrow now playing. Burrow would be 1, and then I'd say Woodside and Ridder 2 and 3 here. Browning ran 4 times for 50 yards, way too many. But that's these Washington quarterbacks. This is why they always suck. They get athletes who can run, but they're like Jake Locker. He could run, but he couldn't throw the ball. That's the problem with these athlete quarterbacks who can run. They don't know how to throw. They're not quarterbacks, and the team sucks because of them. So rushing, Browning 4 for 50, C. Brown 9 of 18, and Evans 7 of 15. We'll see what Cincinnati does, but we know they got Chase and Burrow, so that's really all we care about. Atlanta, Igwe Bigwe, 14 for 61. Robinson, he's the draft pick, I think, 4 for 20. Washington Jr., 5 for 15. Heineke, why is he running? Ridder, why is he running? And Algier, I thought was their running back, 1 for -1. I think the coaches are just too stupid to design runs. If you watch the 60 Packers, what did you see? Lombardi say, this is the play we must have, a power sweep. And he would teach the lineman combinations. So you got your pulling guards and you got Paul Hornung. And he said to the guard, if the linebacker's here, you take him that way. If he's here, you take him that way. So he taught him, let the linebacker take himself out of the play. If the cornerback came in here, this blocker would put him there. If he's here, this blocker would put him there, and you'd create this hole. So you're pushing the defense the way they're going. So if I come up and he's on this side, he's going that way. And if he's on this side, he's going that way. That's how Lombardi taught running. They won 5 championships. I guess they knew what they were doing. Same thing with the Dolphins in the early 70s. The Steelers, Franco Harris. Somehow they made it work. Now the NFL doesn't know how to run. They can't figure out how to run. Then they go, this is how stupid they are. They go, well, we need Lamar Jackson and Fields to run. We need to do Alabama. Let the receivers take them down, Oklahoma, and then our quarterback will run around. So we'll get a real fast quarterback, let the receivers run deep, pulling the defense with them, and then the quarterback can get out of the line and he'll run. That's my offense. Like, oh, okay. Yeah, how many times did you beat Georgia and Alabama with it? None? Oh, okay. And that's what you have is the only way they can kind of come up with running is to have running quarterbacks. That's how stupid these offensive coordinators are. This is the problem with the league. So they want to throw. What do? Bubble. It's the same offense on every fucking team. We'll do a bubble screen. We'll do a little 2-yard across the middle, the Brady pass. We'll do the fade to the corner. Maybe they do a post pattern. Maybe. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. It's the same offense on every team. Anybody with a brain, you watch Sean Payton come in, you're going to see some plays that you don't see anywhere else. A little bit with Mahomes and Kelsey. They figured out the tight ends a mismatch because the safeties and cornerback are 190-pound guys. There's Kelsey at 240. Okay, you're gonna stop this guy. So he just boxes him out because he played basketball. So he gets up to the guy, turns his back. The guy's pinned. He catches the ball. Good luck tackling him because you're 180 and I'm 240. That's why Kansas City's successful. It's Kelsey playing basketball, not football. Not really running a route. Just I'm going to go up and box out this guy. That's Kelsey. That's Kansas City football. So that's what you have to understand about it. Most of these offensive coordinators are idiots. That's why the whole league's like they score 20 to 25 points. They give up 20 to 25 points. And it's terrible. And so you need the quarterback. That's why I like when Rising comes in and it's 40 a game and Van Dyke and Hartman, they just light it up. They're throwing the ball deep to the guys. They're running normal pass patterns that you should be. Bobby Ball, I had to step away, but back, Professor. I'm in downtown St. Pete. Oh, you're in Russia? Say hi to Daria for me. She just texted me. St. Pete. That's Florida. I always think of it as Russia now. Nice area, about 20 minutes from Tampa. Oh, yeah, Tampa, St. Pete, the Twin Cities. A lot of nice women and spots to hang out and around here. Well, lay the smack down. Put them in figure fours or something, Bobby. Have some fun with them. See if they smell what you're cooking. So anyway, yeah, just talking about the preseason right now. We've talked about college, which you should have got. So Cincinnati, well, it doesn't. Chase didn't play. Atlanta. So basically, there's a lot of deficiency is really in the it's in the coaching's just so bad. There's Sean Payton and the guy in the Rams and Coach Pete. There's 5 or 6 coaches that are any good. And that's the big problem. That's why who is the Bears coach? I've never heard of the guy. Fields is running for his life. So now he's a running back. Well, we see how successful Josh Allen is. As soon as he plays a good defensive team, and KC's not that good of a defensive team, and neither Cincinnati's okay. he folds because the pressure's on him. They pressure him. He can't handle the blitz. They are outcoached. All right, let's do some quick baseball. It's 1:11. Boston and the Yankees have already started. 2:20. Okay, so we got time. Bobby, I missed what you said of my LSU whipping Florida State comment. I don't think I said much on it. I know you're hoping it. I like the under probably in the game, but probably just good luck to you. I'm sure you said, Bobby, you're playing with fire if you go heavy on that game. Well, as I say, it's risk and reward. You're better off with why play more risk for the same reward? It's not like you're getting 2-1 to take LSU. It's the same 110 to win 100, let's say, if it's a teaser. So wouldn't you rather play Texas to kill, I know you're a Texas guy. You're much better playing Texas to kill Rice than you are fucking with LSU, Florida State, but play LSU against Ole Miss or LSU against Alabama. Then I'd be with you. Florida State's a good fucking team. Bet my whole silver stack on LSU. Good luck to you, Bobby. I would maybe do it on Army. I'm not sure I'd do it there or Utah with the red out. Did you hear Utah's doing a red out? It's just amazing. They're going to kill them. They're just going to kill them. I like Texas. Hit them. They got to cover that 35. LSU, you're just going to win. Are you teasing LSU? If you're teasing LSU, at least you get 3.5 points. They could lose. Like last year, I think I had LSU as the dog, and they lost by 1. And I had 7 or 8, and so I won. But that's what I would do. If I did take the game, I would not take LSU. I would take Florida State plus 8.5, and it'll be a close game. They're not going to blow out Florida State. Yeah, you can't bet the Kangaroos. Let me show you what I got, Bobby. So I wanted a 1/4 ounce of gold yesterday, but they didn't have. So I got my buffaloes. He had them nice and shiny too. So I got 11 of them. I had 300. So I brought 6. I was going to buy a 1/4 ounce for 5 something. Didn't have. He had 2 Cougaran ounces and then these little bars from Credit Suisse that are 1 ounce bars, which I didn't want. And so I went to this. These are $25 an ounce. These are on sale. So I said, how much can I? 300. And it was like 11.5. So I said, no, 11's my number. So I got 11 of these. You can see they're all nice and shiny. But I haven't bought silver in a while. And I really wanted to buy. I think I'm done with silver. I'm near 600 ounces. I'd rather just keep buying gold, especially with what's going to happen this week. Remember, this week is Bricks Week. It's Bricks Week and it's Notre Dame week. I hated Mark McGuire yesterday, had some idiot on. I don't get it. Everything the guy talked about was nothing new. I watched McGuire to get what's new. Right? What's new? What's coming up? What's new? You're giving me a lot. You're not even giving me an economics lesson. He starts talking about the Great Depression. He wasn't even right. The Great Depression was inflation in the 1920s. The Roaring 20s was inflation. And then the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act. That's what caused the Great Depression. And it would have ended in 1930 if they would have got out of the way. But no, our government had to do socialism and do all this, take the gold, all this, build the Hoover Dam, build roads. It was government spending. It was all Keynesian, which made it go for 10 years. It should have been over in 1930, not 1943. Then, of course, we went to the gold standard, and then we never had to worry about it till we got off the gold standard. Funny how the gold standard always works. So he starts talking about that. He's wrong. He doesn't know. He's like an accountant or something. It's like, dudes, what are these guys you're having on your show? So I went in to his comments and I saw where they did respond to somebody's comment. So I replied to the comment. So they should see it. And I said, why don't you fucking have me on? I've got a couple hundred videos if you want to go check out my references, and you'll see that I know more than anybody you've ever had on your show, including Mark McGuire, because I'm an economist who can explain it, not with charts. I'm not a Keynesian. I'm an Austrian. And you've never had that on your show. You have a bunch of salesmen. You have a bunch of idiots that don't know anything, and they don't tell you anything. Yeah, the housing market's this and the stocks are that. Well, we know all that shit. We know interest rates because of inflation. We know the housing market's crashing. We know that nobody can afford a car. We know all that. That's not new news. We know BRICS is coming, but he didn't really talk about it. So anyway, that was my point on that. So I'll talk economics a little bit. So this was basically college football and the NFL, and we'll do quickly baseball. KC Chicago. This starts at 2:20. It's 1:17. You got an hour. We got Brady Singer for KC, 8-8 with the 4.91 against Justin Seal, 13-3, 279. I love the Cubbies here. Steele's 13-3 with a 2.79 against Singer, 8-8 with the 5 ERA. Take the Cubbies. Take it strong. I'm even going to lock that one. Lock the Cubbies. Miami and the Dodgers. Good game. Miami beat them yesterday. Yuri Perez, 5-4 with a 3.19 against Caleb Ferguson, 7-3 with a 2.38. Over-unders 9 under. Two good pitchers. We'll go under 9. Arizona, San Diego. Merrill Kelly for Arizona, 9-5 with a 3.05. Matt Waldron, 0-1 with a 3.86. Let's go under here, even though we know Arizona can hit. Wow, there's 62, but there's 62 and 61. I was like, okay, we're getting to that part of the season where they played 125 games. I like the game under. Two decent pitchers. I don't know what Waldron is, 0-1 with a 3.86. But Arizona's 9-5, so he's pitched a lot, 3.05. So it should be low scoring. Milwaukee, Texas. We know Texas can hit the hell out of the ball. Freddie Peralta, 9-8 with the 4.08 against Dane Dunning, 9-4 with the 3.10. Let's go Texas in this one. A little bit better pitcher. Philly, Washington. Christopher Sanchez, 1-3 with the 3.39 against Jake Irvin, 3-5 with the 4.76. I guess Philadelphia a little bit better, but he's 1-3. I don't think he's a bullpen guy would be 1-3, but a little bit better with the Phillies. Tampa Bay, California. We got Glasnow, 6-3, 3.01 again for Tampa. Chase Silseth, 4-1 with a 3.27 for California. I like the under here. Two pitchers in the threes. Toronto, Cincinnati, Bassett, 11-6 at the 3.95, and Williamson, 4-2 at the 4.33. Here we're going to go over. Over-under's 10. We're going over in this one. Detroit, Cleveland, Matt Manning, the no-hitter for six-inning guy, who lately sucks, 4-4 at the 4.60, with a no-hitter included, against Tanner Bibby, 9-2 at the 2. Oh, I like Cleveland here. Bibby 9. See, against good pitching, Detroit doesn't show up. 9-2 at the 2.90. Matt Manning for over under 8. Take Cleveland here. Pitt Mini, Mitch Keller, 9-8 with the 4.27 against Sonny Gray, 6-5 with the 3.04. I like Minnesota here. They have to win. They've been playing shitty. They started playing better yesterday. They got the W. Pitt's not very good. Sonny Gray's probably their ace or their 2, so I like Mini here. Pittsburgh's not very good. Seattle, Houston, Logan Gilbert for Seattle, 10-5 with a 3.80 against Framber Valdez, 9-8 with a 3.31. I guess I'd take Houston here, just because they're at home and they're a good team. Seattle's not bad, 67-55. Could be an under, but I think I like Houston. I like Altuve. The Mets and the Cardinals. Bobby playing against Mark McGuire. Cody Senger 9-6 with a 3.30 against Miles McCullough 6.8. I like the Mets. Well, yeah, I guess I like the Mets here. Not great. Frisco and Atlanta. Logan Webb for Frisco 9-9, 3.26 against Chirinolas 5-5 with a 5.20. I like the. Well, it's not that easy to go against Atlanta, is it? Let's go over with the game. I think Atlanta will hit Logan Webb, and Frisco will hit this Chernus guy with the 5.22. So let's go over 9.5, Atlanta and the Niners. Chicago, Colorado. Jesse Solzum 1-5 with a 3.2 against Kyle Freeland. 4-13 with the 4.94. 11.5. Holy fuck. Yeah, let's go over very lightly. Arizona, San Diego, no pitching. I think it's game 2 of the doubleheader. Baltimore and Oakland. Cole Irvin 1-3 with the 4.92 for Baltimore. Ken Waldachuk 2-7 with the 6.0. We go over in this one. Baltimore should. Tampa Bay in California game 2. Zach Efron 12-7, 3.67 against Sandoval 6-9, 4.09. Let's take Tampa Bay in this one too. In Miami, the Dodgers in the doubleheader. We've got Garrett 7-3 with the 3.91 for Miami. Urias 10-6 with the 4.35 for the Dodgers. Boy, I think Miami's a pretty live dog in this game. 7-3 with the 3.91. Urias 10-6 with the 4.35, and the Dodgers are minus 190. I like Miami as a big dog. A lot depends on game 1. So to recap, college football, free pick, take the Army over weak Lou Monroe and take Texas with Ewers and Archie Manning Jr. to come in and put up a 60 on Rice, who basically sucks. That's the free teaser for you. I do have a lot going. I've got 4 other plays going. I will add more. So I've got like the August 26th to 9-1, and I've thrown in like Texas. And after that week, then I'll add a few more to the second week. So that's what it is. Pros, I'll probably start posting those after the 3rd preseason game just to see what's happening. www.teaserking.com. Started getting customers already. Passwords out there. Again, if you want to buy the year for $750 and you can pay me $250. If you want to buy the weeks and the months, there's very little to deal with. I think a month's $300 for 4 weeks. You get the locks, you get all the games. If you just want to buy the college for the first week, you would get the college lock. Again, www.teaserking.com. Please email me if you want to do like a payment where, okay, I want the $600 package. I'll give you $300 now, $300 in a couple of weeks or a month. And that's perfectly fine. I understand inflation. You need money for gold and silver. I get it. Real quickly, I wanted to talk to you about this phone call I got yesterday. So I'm working till 12 at Harley and then at home, and then I go out and go have fun at the coin store. And this guy calls me. I see you've done business with us before, some gold store. And I go to him. There's nothing you're going to be able to tell me that I don't already know. You don't know who you're talking to. So all he sees is that I bought from them before. And the only people I bought from is the store at 5 Mile, 4 miles from my house. That's where I buy this. I do not buy at a store or online or on eBay. This guy gives me great prices. I go there and buy them. What the fuck are you talking about? I says, now I wasn't being like critical or mean or anything. I was kind of like saying, I'm pretty sure there's nothing you're going to be able to tell me that I don't already know. And he came back and he said, "Oh, you're a smartass." What the fuck? Who calls somebody and calls the customer a smartass? What the fuck was that? I didn't answer. I hung up and blocked him. You're calling me a smartass because I say there's nothing you're going to be able to teach me. I'm the fucking professor with a master's in economics who understands gold better than anybody, and you're going to call me a smartass? Why are you calling me a smartass? I thought it was a scam because I didn't really recognize the store. And they probably, okay, why don't you buy some gold from us, get my credit card number, and it's a scam. Because no salesman in their right mind, first of all, I don't buy from anybody. Second of all, what salesman in his right mind has ever called you guys and says, you're a smartass? Oh, I said, I think I said something like, I'm smarter than you are. I don't need any help. I don't buy from you. I don't need anybody to buy from. Like, why are you bothering me? So I was nice about it, but I was like, I didn't just hang up on him. I says, there's nothing you're going to be able to tell me that I don't already know. Now, you can take that any way you want, but I'm not being a smartass. It's an honest comment. There is nothing you're going to tell me about gold that I don't know, that I don't teach. I'm a fucking professor. What the fuck are you talking about? He calls me a smartass. So instead of getting mad, being an INFJ, I closed the door. I hung up and blocked him, and that's it. But these scam calls. I got another one where this girl accidentally texts me. Then we start talking about Bitcoin, and I says I would never buy it. It's not worth anything. Oh, I make all this money on derivatives and options and this and that. And she starts explaining it. I don't want to hear it. I buy gold. That's the only thing to buy. I would never buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin's down to like 26,000, going down. And she's sitting there trying to tell me, and I end up, here's where the scam came in. So she said, oh, I make 300,000 a week. Oh, really? And then she says she sells dresses or something as her job. What? You make 300 grand a week. That is your job, right? If I make 300 grand a month on Teaserking, I don't work at Harley. So what the fuck are you talking about? Then she shows me a picture of her shopping, and she's pulling this dress off the rack that's just a rag. You got 300 grand and you're buying this dress? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? So that's what so I smelled a scam because I didn't know. I thought it was Kenzie or one of Kenzie's friends because, they know I have some money. So I'm talking gold. And then the next thing I know, she says, well, if you give me $100, I can make you, 200 a week with my little system derivative. I go, okay, first of all, derivatives are extremely risky. You're probably not going to ever make money on derivatives. And it's illegal in the U.S., so you're obviously a Russian. She said she was from Belarus, but didn't have says I'm living in L.A., but she didn't have an L.A. phone number, area code. And then now she wants the 100, and I said, okay, you're too stupid to have a conversation with. I hung up and blocked her. So you got to be careful when people start talking and want you to give them money for an investment. If you notice, I never ask you for money for gold or silver. I say, here's the store, you buy it. I ask for money I give you a free football pick, but you get my picks for football. That's kind of my business. So of course, I'm going to ask you for money for it, but you're going to get the picks and you can see my history. I do quite well at it and you can hear my logic. So that's okay. That'd be like asking an attorney for advice. Of course, you're going to pay for it. I'm joking about the silver part. I've never been. Bobby, Caleb Ferguson thought you were going to say Caleb Williams that next week, Professor. Who's Caleb Ferguson? It was probably Phil. Maybe it was Phil. I don't know. Phil doesn't have my number. No, it was somebody pretending to be a girl. She gave me a picture of this pretty Russian girl, and then she shows me she's going to work out, but it was almost a different girl. Then she shows me shopping. She doesn't look like the first picture. So it kind of looked like this, but that's what you get from Kenzie, right? Well, the other girls will actually send you a picture of them that's on the internet, and then you ask for a regular picture. So I don't know. But even when I get a regular picture, I can't say it's them. This other girl gave me a picture of her at home in her underpants. And again, you're like, well, that doesn't prove it's you sending a picture, because there's probably many pictures of you out there. So anyway, yeah, it could be Phil, but Phil can still listen in. He could be one of our three guys listening, getting the games. Nick was on earlier. You're on. So who knows? I don't care. I'm not blocking them from listening, just the comments. So they're not, they can't watch. And if they want, they can email me and we can have a discussion. But they can't interrupt the class with the nonsense. Oh, so it was probably Kenzie. I don't know who it was. No, well, wasn't a picture of Kenzie. It was probably some Russian scammer trying to get $100 who probably knew Kenzie. Like probably the guy who's posing as Kenzie trying to get money from me so she can come to me and meet me. So it's probably the same guy who knows me. So now he's got my number and my email. Well, supposedly she does. So could easily have done that and sent a phony picture of somebody and then started talking about Bitcoin and, oh, I can make you money, send me $100. But they know I don't do Bitcoins. So I thought it was strange. But be careful. So these are two of the strangest phone. The gold guy, have you ever had somebody call you to sell something to you and then call you a smartass? Because you said, I'm the professor. I don't need anybody's help. Like he was trying to educate me on gold. I'm like, I don't need anybody's help. I know exactly what I'm doing. I don't need anybody's help in buying this shit. I get it. I know what inflation is. I know there's no such thing as deflation. I know the only out off the Titanic is the gold boat. So what the fuck are you talking about? No, Nick's not blocked. Nick's busy, I guess. Could be Andrew. Well, he's Canadian. Could be Phil or somebody I blocked. I don't know. I think it's more in the Kenzie range where she's just trying to get money and I'll come to you and all this bullshit. That's what these girls do is they pretend it's the girl and they'll come and give me $100. Oh, I need another $2, or I need you gave me $2, I need $4. And then it's not even them. It's fake. And, it's just ridiculous. So no, I don't. Andrew could be there, but all Andrew did was like beg me for football picks. Oh, can I have your lock? Well, you got to pay for it like everybody else as a customer. It's like going to an attorney going, oh, can you give me free advice? Well, I got customers I charge $300 an hour for. So if you want, I can talk to you. It's $300 an hour. And that's what Andrew was. Andrew was, oh, give me your picks. Give me your picks. Why, Andrew? Fucking, you got $700,000 and you can't spend $100 on my picks and then go bet if that's what you want. I sell football games. It's not a secret. I've been doing it for 20 years. What the fuck? So the one thing is obviously I do good because he wants my pick. But the other thing is he doesn't. He keeps begging. Like if he was a customer, it's one thing, but the customer gets all the picks. So anyway, that's what it is. And it's like, look, I'm giving you a free pick. I'm giving you Army, Texas out of the kindness of my heart to help people. Here's your free pick. I go through the game so you kind of have an idea of which side or over under that I like, but I'm not betting all them. I'm not betting San Diego State under, but I bet it's probably a pretty good play. If I was doing a 10-team teaser card and they were they were on the card as an under, I would probably add them to the card. But that doesn't, you don't know what I'm betting, and you don't know how hard I bet. And that's the whole point of it. What's the lock? Put them in multiple games. That's the whole point of it. So anyway, I do have one guy that I give him the picks, and I say bet $500, and if it wins, I get 20%, and then he pays me on Venmo. So I do have one customer who does that, and I got about 10 customers who I give like 4 or 5 team teasers, and I get 20% of the winning. They got to show me the ticket. Okay, you bet $50 to win, 300. If it wins, I get 60. And so I got about 10 people I've been doing that with. But normally I'm really selling the picks, and then you can do with what you want. But here I'm trying to give you my opinion on every game because I can do that. But I can't bet every game. There's, like I said, there's better ones and worse ones. That's what you want to do. So I'm going to end this. It's been 2 hours, and I was just talking about, but I want to keep it to football. So if you want to check my football out, you don't get caught in my economics and football and gold and bricks and Titanic and everything else, then you got to kind of weed through where my football is. So I don't want to do that. So I think I'm going to hit the pool, and then I think I'll come back and we'll talk economics and bricks. Again, I got 11 ounces of silver at $25 an ounce. So everybody's panicking. So as the spot goes down, and then I'll leave. As the spot goes down, yeah, go ahead, Nick. Yeah, go ahead. You can ask me anything. Go ahead. So as the spot goes down, because these guys are panic selling, the bullion banks are selling because here comes bricks and the gold's going to go up, and they're getting out and they're dumping it. And that's why they got so many derivatives, if they even understand it. Again, Egon says the U.S. and Canada and the Western Europe central banks are not buying gold. They don't understand it. They think we're just going to keep printing because George Soros put a bunch of Keynesians in charge who don't understand gold, who thinks I'll just keep printing and it won't matter. And they played the derivative game. And then as it's blowing up, as I show you, and therefore, because it's going to blow up, they're going to lose a fortune in all their derivatives. So maybe they know, and they're just trying to get out, and so they're dumping the paper, which is totally illegal. But football, why do you think, or what do you think of Falcons this year? I think their offense is extremely stacked. Bijan Rons. Well, that we'll see. They have the other quarterback who I liked. If I can find him. Woodside. I think Woodside from Toledo is better than Ryder. I don't know. Bijan Robinson, I'm not hearing good things about. He was okay at Texas. He was a strong running back. This is the NFL. I don't think they know how to call plays for running backs. If they are good offensively, they'll be an over team, right? Because they don't have defense. So I think they can run the ball, but I think if it's Ritter, you don't have to respect him. I think they have Cordell Patterson still, the wide receiver, who's a really good runner. So we'll see. But right now, they've always had a problem with the weak defense. So then they're probably an over team. So if they were to play Chicago, we'd lock the over on it. Yes, they will run the ball. But again, Ritter, I would rather see Woodside than Ritter. I think he's a better quarterback. But we will see. I mean, they need time. Let's see what Ritter does. But right now, they're an over team at best if they start with the running and the defense hasn't gotten. But as of now, we'll see the first 3 weeks. We might make a change. But as of now, after looking at last year, I've got them as an over defense and an E off a 25-point offense. Nick, I was thinking the same over team. Usually the over teams I like are like Kansas City, Cincinnati, Joe Burrow. Although Cincinnati's got a pretty good defense. Buffalo is probably more of an over team because they don't have a good defense. New Orleans will probably be an over with Hayner and Carr, and Kamara's playing, and Olave. I don't know about their defense. But I do know these new quarterbacks, not named Stenson Benson and Thompson Robinson, are probably going to be unders. They're not going to have an offense. Houston and Indy and Carolina are not going to score 10 points. There's no way C.J. Stroud or the kid out of, what's his name, Richardson, is going to do anything, right? There's no way they're going to do anything. They might try running, but this is the NFL. They're not going to run far or fast. And maybe they try to be like Fields. I don't know what Fields is doing. He'll get hurt, or he got hurt last year, but they won 3 games, Fields running for 1,500 yards. You got to use all the pieces on a chessboard. You got to use your rooks and your pawns and your bishops. And Fields and Lamar don't do that. And Richardson won't do it. And Stroud won't do it. And I doubt that, Young's going to do it. Stenson Benson does. And Hannah and Hayner will. And Thompson Robinson clearly does. So those are real quarterbacks, right? So those are the guys you keep your eye on. Watson's not very good. Thompson, I would rather start Thompson Robinson than Watson. He sits out 2 years. He's all fucked up with the sexual harassments and everything. He's not, he's not it, right? You can't sit out 2 years and just go back in on Cleveland. It's not going to happen. So that's what you got to be wary of. Vegas, who's Garoppolo? I love Sincere. Okay, so to quote me from last week, Sincere McCormick, who I said is the best running back in pro football from UTSA, couldn't tackle the guy. Scored 2 touchdowns last week. Let's see what he does today. He's on Oakland, and you can't tackle the guy. He's so quick and fast. Watch what he does, but that's why they're getting rid of the guy from Alabama, another bust from Alabama running back. They're not going to pay him the money. They got McCormick. They don't need to pay him. So we will see, but they're going to run him a lot or catch it. I don't know that they're an over. Not with Garoppolo. Now, yes, they don't have a defense, so they might actually be a W. I can see them scoring 20 and giving up 28. When they play San Diego and Kansas City, they're going to give up 48. So I think when they play KC, Denver, and San Diego, you just bet against them. When they play the Lions, then you can probably bet them over because they'll score on the Lions, and the Lions, I don't know. I'm really let's see the Lions. I don't think they're going to be as strong offensively as last year. The loss of the running back kills them, and then you replace him with a guy from Alabama who rushed for 800 yards. Doesn't show me anything on a passing offense, and he's supposed to be catching, but he only caught 20 passes last year. So what the fuck? It's not Jerry Rice. I mean, all of a sudden they want a pass catcher out of the backfield. So I think the Lions are in trouble. Goff's not very good anyway. And then you've got Jamo Williams and the receiver from Alabama who stinks. Can't catch a pass. Yeah, good draft picks. Almost as good as Charles Rogers and Roy Williams. Anytime the Lions have tried to draft a receiver up top of the first round, it's failed because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. I could see if they went at a TCU guy, somebody from UCLA or USC, somebody from Washington or Utah, one of these passing schools with the good quarterbacks. even somebody out of Miami who played for Van Dyke, or this year the guys out of Notre Dame, because they're going to be playing with Hartman. Then you're going to see receivers, so that's fine. But you don't draft Alabama receivers. Then you start finding out he only played a couple of games at Ohio State for 2 years. He played like 5 games and got like 9 passes. And he transferred from Ohio State to Alabama, so he basically got cut from Ohio State. Why would you draft this guy? Are you out of your fucking mind? So he goes to another system, and he doesn't even really excel, and you make him a first-round draft pick. Again, they have no clue what they're doing. Just pay me a couple million, and I'll get you superstars in the 8th round. I'll get you superstars in the free agent market. I'll get you superstars. Just tremendously poor drafting. Their draft this year sucks. Again, a tight end from Iowa who stinks, like the running back from Alabama who stinks. You got a terrible quarterback. The best pick they got was Hooker. How they got Hooker, I don't know. But is he going to be like Kellen Moore, who never played? Nick, DJ sites do you use for college news? Been trying to study up when I have time. Well, I'll probably go to like Yahoo Sports for the news and just check it, or maybe like ESPN if they're on YouTube or something, or I won't watch ESPN. I hate it. But something where mostly it's going to be I get the Lions shit from my radio when I'm driving to the swim or driving to the lake. And then I get really I'm mostly looking at box scores. I was on Twitter. I think you get a lot of shit. They told me Utah is going to be going to do a red out. I got so excited reading that. I was like, this is crazy. I mean, Utah's going to kill Florida. And I know it's a revenge game for you, Nick. You didn't. I don't think. Oh, if we teased that, I won with the teaser last year. I think I had 3 with Utah, and they lost by 2, rising through the interception. The end zone should have won the game, but I think you played money line on it, and I teased it. But anyway, big revenge game, and then it's a red out. Utah by 4 touchdowns, I think. But anyway, that's where I get it. I'll really just study it on the box scores and see what's going on, and then I'll watch YouTube for the highlights once the season starts. And I know what to look for, so I'm good at that. Meant to tell you, pulled a Cam Rising rookie refractor out of 100. PSA 10 was so. It's a PSA 10. It was a graded rookie refractor. Wow, that'll be worth a ton. So, for example, a Tom Brady refractor, which I showed you here. Here, I'll show you. 6 out of 10. Tom Brady. Holy fuck. So this is the Tom Brady out of 10, right? PSA 10. It was 5 million. It's up to 8.2 million for the 10 count Tom Brady. You don't think gold's worth a little bit more than 2,000? Unbelievable. 8.2 million. Wow. This is unbelievable. 515 favorites, your likes or whatever. But this is, see, it's 5 out of 10 right there. So now you pull a Cam Rising. It is a PSA 10, or you just think it's a PSA 10? Yeah, well, and I know you listen to me, so you know which players to go after. Yeah, Hartman I would go after also. So this is a PSA 10, or it's just in really good condition, and you think it'll be a 10. Graded. Oh, beautiful. Wow. So you pull it out of a pack graded. Where have I been? They never came graded out of the pack. Anyway, so there's your Brady up to 8.2 fucking million. Unfucking believable. 8.2 million for a Ted Count Brady. That's supply and demand. That's Austrian economics. That's what the market will bear is what it is. And that's where we need gold to get to. Here's my Montana, 125,000 for his PSA 10 that I need to get graded. So don't tell me here's 48,000 for my Mantle. I don't have this one. 65 Mantle PSA 10 winning the World Series with a 3-run homer. It's just an insert. It's just an extra card. It's not even the Mantle card. It's the Mantle card of him hitting a World Series. It's like the All-Star cards. They're not as valuable as the regular card. 48 grand. Here you go. 65 Mantle. This is PSA 9. 60,000 PSA 9. You want to buy Bitcoin? Or you want to buy that? I don't even think it's close. Because Bitcoin, you don't know the price. Here you got on eBay. It's market control. It's free market. And that's what Bitcoin's all about. Pull a Case Klubnik out of 10 autograph waiting on PSA grade. Case Club. Who the fuck is Case Klubnik? That football? I'm sorry, I don't recognize the name. Pull a Case Klubnik. But any rising, so he's got a knee problem, sort of like Joe Burrow. He's playing in a brace, but he should be okay. So he's fixed and playing versus hurt, and he can't play again like Mackenzie Milton at Central Florida, who was a great quarterback, and then he hurt his knee in a really bad, sort of like the guy on Washington, who hurt his knee so bad he almost lost it and he couldn't play. Alex Smith, that's what happened to Mackenzie Milton at UCF. But that's what you have. So, yeah, quarterback for Clemson. Well, good luck anyway on that one. Well, you got the rising. I wouldn't be. Is this out of? Oh, it's out of 10. Oh, okay. Well, is he any good? Let's look at Clemson's quarterback. Case Klubnik. He's a sophomore. Cade Klubnik. He was 61 out of 100, 2 touchdowns and 3 picks last year. Maybe he'll get better. Case Klubnik made his share of freshman mistakes in 2 games as Clemson's starting quarterback, but his raw talent was undeniable in the ACC championship and the Orange Bowl, 2 high-profile games in which he averaged 340 yards of total offense, gave the Tigers an explosive element they couldn't find, but they lost those games. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. They got killed by Tennessee 31-14, and they beat North Carolina 39-10. So neither team had a defense. Tennessee, they lost 31-14. I don't care how many yards he got. He only threw for 2 touchdowns, so I guess he's a runner, which we know doesn't make sense. 340 yards of total offense, and they scored 14 points on Tennessee. Klubnik is Clemson's undisputed quarterback for 2023 as a true sophomore. Yeah, I'll hand the ball to Shipley a lot. Well, maybe he'll turn into something. Hopefully he doesn't turn into Ooglia Booglia. But yeah, for free, you got a 10-count autograph. Maybe you'll get a little value. I'm more excited with the Rising out of 100. I think PSA 10, you have a much better chance with that. Anyway, I think that's about it. I'm going to go swim. I am tired. It's been 2:20. So that's college football. Again, www.teaserking.com. The picks are posted. Nicholas, picks are posted. The locks posted. Free pick is the Army and Texas in the teaser. I got 4 plays and 1 lock so far. I'm looking at least probably 2 locks for week 1 of the pros, but I'm going to post them after the 3rd exhibition game. There's no reason to post them yet. And that's about it. So again, www.teaserking.com. If you want to make some payment plans, go right ahead. Just email me and ask me. One payment now, one payment, what do we, in a couple of, 3-4 weeks. That's about it. So have a good day. Army, Texas, teaser. It's not a lock. It's a good pick, though. Like I said, I got 1 lock going and 4 other games going. Again, I'm going through every game. I'm not betting every game, but this way, like Bobby, he likes LSU. What's my opinion on it? I give him my opinion. Doesn't mean I'm betting Florida State. But that's what happens. So we will see. All right, everybody, have a good day. I'll be back probably later with some economics. Tomorrow for sure. We will talk about the pro, all the exhibition games that are on today. We'll go walk through that. We can look at week 1, but again, it's a little bit far off. And then I'll talk economics with the pros tomorrow. So I might just do that. I might not do a second show today. Want to know your opinion on what? What do you need, Nick? My opinion, laugh a lot. Yeah. Okay. Is that a question, Nick, or do you have a game you're looking for, or what? Anyway, you'll see it posted. All right. Have a good day, everybody. Take care. Again, Army, Texas, free pick. I went through baseball. I think I locked whoever the hell Kansas City's playing. I locked against Kansas City. And so I gave you some baseball picks too. All right. Have a good day. www.teaserking.com. Picks are posted. You may get week 1 and a little bit of the 9-2 games. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a good day. Thank you.